After building countless Gundam kits, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, I knew I needed more. Not just more, but the best, the bestest, the awesomest even. I need the world's most awesomest, rarest Gunpla. So I set out on a journey, a perilous quest across a dark, fantasy-ish land filled with adventure and danger. Over mountains, through caves, across seas to a lost forest of epic proportions where the shrine to the gods of Gunpla lies. To that ultimate kit, beyond the likes ever seen. The perfect grade unicorn perfectibility, the real grade high new Gundam, the high grade Gundam Calibarn, the MGEX Strike Freedom Gundam, all earthly shadows that pale in comparison to what lies in the spring of life clearing in the center of that forest. This, finally, is the end of my journey. Huh? What was that? You there, forest creature?
Huh? Well met, traveler. What brings you to me, the keeper of the kit, the protector of the Pla, the Gunpla Goblin?
I have traveled far and wide, across lands unknown and witnessed many miracles and many pearls to obtain that which you protect. The world's most awesomest, rarest Gunpla.
Magnificent! Oh, but there is one problem there, traveler. This is not what you seek. This is in fact much, much more. And by that I mean it's much, much less. It's actually the world's most stupidest kind of rare Gunpla. The awesome one is actually 20,000 kilometers the other way on the exact converse side of the planet, I'm afraid.
Wait, what? What the fuck is this?
It's the Torohachi, that stupid maintenance bot from part 1 of Gundam Unicorn that runs out of fuel, traveler, and falls out of the sky, traveler.
Fuck it. This will have to do. I need this video done today.
What's the rush, traveler?
Because this video is sponsored?
Oh, by whom, traveler?
Well, let me tell you. Hey you, yeah you. Do you know that you're under the constant threat of cybercrime? This video was sponsored by NordVPN.
I'm Spooky the Net Gremlin, and there's nothing I love more than data theft, tracing, surveillance, and commercial targeting. But recently, I've become a huge fan of man-in-the-middle attacks. That's you. You're just sitting comfortably in a cafe drinking a nice pumpkin spice latte and logging onto their Wi-Fi to get a little bit of work done. But bam! That wasn't the cafe's Wi-Fi you just logged into. It's mine. Because that's me in the corner, and I'm not losing my religion. I'm stealing all of your data. Your sensitive data. Bruh, no! You're using NordVPN, and with just a single click, you've become safer! Your sensitive data is safe from cyber attacks thanks to NordVPN. So if you want to be safe while surfing the net, you need to head on over to NordVPN/Mecha Gaikotsu, risk-free with 30-day money-back guarantee. I use it myself in order to stay safe online, as well as to access content not available in my area, like the Japanese Premium Bandai website. Woo! Check out that high-grade Oatlinde. So once again, that's NordVPN/Mecha Gaikotsu, and you can find that link down there in the description.
So yes, today we're going to be taking a look at this right here, and like we saw already, this is the Gundam Base Limited Torohachi. Like you can see from that little label right there, this is from the Gundam Base in Japan, so you can either grab that by going to the Gundam Base and grabbing it, or get it like I did off of Baiyi. There is what we're going to be taking a look at, and this looks very nicely detailed. Yes, it is daft. Yes, it's a weird idea by Bandai, but at the same time, that's what makes it so damn cool. So getting it opened up, and it looks like this is simple enough. We've got some nice yellow in here. Remove it from its plastic entrapment. Some clear segments right there for the windscreen and back. The yellow in here is a very nice shade of yellow. It's also kind of a matte finish, which is nice. That does kind of diffuse the light in a very nice way. Then we've got a second bag in here. We've got a single brown wire, and there are the instructions, which is just like 2 pages. So I needed to get a quick video done today, and this looks like it's going to be a quick one. Also, while I'm cleaning all this stuff up, I might as well just mention that the giveaway for the Witch from Mercury stuff has to be extended, mainly because I'm a little bit more busy than I thought I would be, and the video I wanted to make for it kind of got delayed somewhat because of a couple of things. One of the biggest delays is I've actually finally gotten around to painting some Warhammer. Not quite there just yet, but getting there. But this mild bit of assembly on a Gundam frame is as far as I got on what I wanted to do. So there's a lot to be done there. So let's just say it's probably gonna last a little longer than I expected it. I'll keep on popping hints in videos like this one right here. Like that one right there. And let's just say it's going to be on till the end of October, I guess. Maybe I'll do the video on Halloween. That might work well. Okay, it's official. I just decided. Halloween giveaway is over. And by the way, the answer is not Ariel or something really obvious like that. It's something a little bit more vague. Ariel ends up in my videos all the time just because it's the latest main Gundam. That doesn't make it the hint. The hints are a lot more obscure and in the background, or right up in your face like that one you just saw. But anywho, let's get this thing built. Actually seeing these little bits you cut out that are a little larger than, say, your average scale Gundam is pretty cool. I know they used to have those, what were they, UC hard graph kits? I never ever got one, but some of them are so cool. Like one of them's a big old Gundam arm, and I think it's in 1/35th scale. Those things are super cool. I should try and get one of those. So despite what that strange little forest gremlin-y creature said, this is actually a very well realized kit. Bandai did put a lot of effort into the design here and it works out so well. First off, we have to build the little, well, fishbowl kind of section up top. Those two parts attached together attach into a little colliery segment, which will start to make the opening cockpit section of this particular kit. There are some stickers included in here, one of which is color correcting. The other ones are to replicate kind of lights, which I suppose are color correcting to a degree as well. The color correcting one is a yellow one for around this little bar, safety bar bit up top. It's not the worst, but it does catch the light in the way the actual mobile suit itself doesn't. Believe it or not, this is actually considered a mobile suit. That was a slip of the tongue, but it was right. The safety bars build up on top of it, then we've got some more stickers to add on. We've got red ones for the lights up on the very top of this, the apex section above the bulb. Then we've got some silver ones for the front and back of the side panels, which are either side of the actual bulb, which I assume are lights. Now, when it comes to the actual internal aspects of this is very nicely designed. Now, I assume this is not fully color accurate because it is all just in gray, but you could paint this up very nicely before actually popping it in. This has some great detail and just looks so good. Very nice. Continuing on from there, everything has been given the full Bandai Brilliant High Grade 2023 treatment. I thought Bandai might kind of take the piss a little bit with this because it's just an exclusive mech for a kind of thing you pick up in store while in Japan in the Gundam base, but no, this is great. The torso under section, I guess the waist unit, builds up very nicely. I will test the compatibility of all of this later on. We have these nice little legs which build up as a whole bunch of parts. They only have articulation at the waist, but what else would it need? And probably the most impressive aspect about this build are the arms. These have so much detail. You build them up as a whole bunch of independent sections. We've got some pistons in the arms, which build up with a little bit of a nice locking mechanism up in the bicep. If you wanted these to extend a little further, because they don't extend that far, you could probably trim away the locking mechanism and get a little bit more of that piston to come out. We've got moving hands as well on top of that, and we do have some nice wires which attach into the forearm section and up into the shoulder to do what they're meant to do. This thing just looks absolutely phenomenal, like the future version of some kind of work machine. It's got the power loader from Aliens vibe, just on a smaller, cuter kind of way. This looks exactly like it should. And like I said, this is a fully realized awesome kit that was great fun to build by Bandai. So maybe not the daftest, stupidest, not so rare kit in the world. This was actually a lot of fun. Now let's get it reviewed properly. So jumping right on into the aesthetics, and I have to admit, when I started with this video, I thought it was going to end up being a little bit of a joke kit that didn't have a whole lot going for it. But this is one of those kits that absolutely has blown me away. This is more impressive than I thought it ever would be. Bandai did go whole hog on this. Now, first off, I will mention there doesn't seem to be a scale on this whatsoever, but it feels in and around the 1/35th scale zone. But then again, it could be a little bit bigger. It is hard to tell. Details-wise, this is very good. This hasn't been panel-lined, painted at all, but it does what it needs to do perfectly. When you get it up into the hand, it is, it's quite small, but at the same time, it's largish. We'll get into a bit of a size comparison fairly soon, but this is what it's like. There is So much going on here, these little grabby hands, all the articulation is here. They've gone all out on it. There's some great detail all around it. First off, I will mention that the stickers could look a little bit better. These ones up here, these ones here, these are recessed, so you can actually just get yourself a metallic marker or some metallic paint and fill those in very, very easily and get a better result than what you're getting right here. This yellow section right here, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. Most of the time it isn't really unnoticeable, so you can keep an eye on that throughout the review and see how much it stands out to you and if it'd be worth painting or not. The detailing is so good. We've got some nice subtle panel lines that could do with some filling in. The wire in brown just looks so good. Around and back then we've got these little thruster sections. All of this is really nice, and when it does come to the arms and the movement on this, there is something about this that I can't wait to talk about, or try out I should say, when it comes to the accessories, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. As for right now, this is great. The big bubble right there catches the light so perfectly. This has been imagined in plastic oh so perfectly, and I am so impressed. It just looks so good. Every angle, all of the time, looking great. The plastics are high quality, got a little bit of a shine on the gray, completely matte yellow, and like I mentioned, that clear plastic in there. If we open this up, we've got the full cockpit section. Now, I'm not sure if this is color accurate or not. I doubt it in plain gray. I'll pop up a picture right now so you can see what it should look like, so you can compare for yourself, but the detail is all in there. So painting that would be an absolute easy thing to pull off. But anyway, about the size, how does it compare to other Gunpla? So when it comes to the size of this is just under 4 inches or under 10 cm, so I'd say about 9 centimeters or so. There it is side by side with the standard size Gundam, which is the Oryx 78-2, or should I say the standard size high grade Gundam, which is the Beyond Global. So as you can see, it is quite small. There's another one, which is the high grade Rose Gundam. Finally, there is the high grade Ariel. So as you can see, it's almost half the size of a high grade, so it's quite a compact kit. So when it comes to the accessories in here, what I actually expected is this right here. Nothing, zero, zilch, nothing at all. But what we actually ended up with is a couple of things. First off, we do have a base adapter in here. This is almost master grade styled to make sure that there is no hole in the actual unit. Second up is this right here, which is a mystery item, which is very mysterious. And this has some major potential. We leave that to last. Let's try out the base adapter first. So when it comes to the base adapter in here, I expected, well, what can I say? I expected just a hole in the bottom that you stick a stand into. This is mildly disappointing just due to the fact of, well, the limitations involved with it. To use this, you just pop it onto the bottom, just like so. It's a 2-point connector, so it connects on the sides and into the bottom so it won't slide away on you. Now this style of adapter right here does limit the action bases that you can use it with. This means this can only be used with the kind of classic master grade kind of stands or the new Bandai action bases. They're not so new ones, the middle new ones. Action base 4 and 5 I think. Basically the ones that look like this right here, the kind of square-ish ones, and even at that you will need the little adapter piece for up top, which is usually the case on the top of one of the master grade style stands. If you're using one of those, you won't need the adapter. Then you just plug that in just like so, and there you go. This thing is now up in the air, and that does exactly what you want. These little action bases I do find a little bit awkward. They're great for display. If you want them to stay like that all of the time, then, well, brilliant. That is quite cool. Also, I will just mildly say that it would have been nice to have seen a pilot for in this. Even if you did have to paint them yourself, that would have been pretty cool. A Banner or Audrey would be pretty cool. But yes, I find these a little bit restrictive for review, so if you're like me and you prefer the kind that you can move around all of the time, then you might have to slap together a series of adapters, of which I cannot find right now, which I guess means I'm going to be skipping that part. But anyway, this little bit right here, this is what I'm excited about. Now the instructions in here says something very vague and kind of fun. Use the extra parts freely. So I was hoping this would have some universal joints, which it does not. Everything is ball jointed. So we've got ball joints for the shoulders, and we do have these little kind of double ball joints down here for the hips. Now I assume the parts we can use freely are exactly the same and or different, but I'm just wondering if they're for attaching into the shoulder, just like so. And I wonder, does that mean we can stick this into a high grade? So Gundams usually have a ball joint shoulder, but how ball jointy are the ball joints compared to what we've got in this kit? So this right here is the moment of truth. Can they actually fit? And if they do, that is magnificent. Here we go. It is absolutely beautiful. Look at that right there. Look at that. That looks like a really badly repaired arm. Oh, that's so cool. That is why they are included. That is pretty awesome. Look at that. The yellow even goes very nicely with the colors on the aerial. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's try them both. So one more joint in. Pop them in and just look at that. Those hold on perfectly. That is so cool. And all the articulation is there too, so you can get what you want out of that. Bandai knew what they were doing here. They knew they didn't give you full compatibility, but you got a little bit. Now, as for the hips, sadly, these are ball joints in the way, which don't really happen all that often. It's usually pegs that we have. But is it the same diameter? Nah, sadly not. You could almost kind of put them there. Just shove something in the hole to hold them in place. But the arms are not compatible, vice versa, which is a little sad. It'd be cool to kind of build a kind of Gundam using this as a base. But of course, with any kind of ingenuity, you can do that. So finally now onto the articulation, and hey, what kind of review would it be if I didn't try to put it in the usual pose? First off, I will mention that this is rock solid as you'd expect. Only thing that kind of pops on me sometimes is the wire because they seem like they fit a little bit shallow. But anyway, let's test it out. And what can I say, for a little kind of tiny maintenance bot thing, it actually pulls it off decently enough. There is no knee articulation or anything like that because of course it has no knees, but everything does work out. Like I mentioned, these do tend to pop at times. Thought it had popped out. Yeah, it's popped out of there. But for the most part, everything holds together extremely, extremely well, all things considering. As for the overall articulation and moving parts, we've got the opening cockpit section, which is nice and smooth, does what it needs to do. The arms are fantastic because they move along this rim like so they can move out of the way to the back or all the way to the front. We've got a ball joint then for this section, so it can roll around like so, go the full 360. And then we've got a little bit of a joint inside of that. Now the shoulders do pop quite readily, especially because this joint does take a little bit of resistance to move up and down. We've got a piston inside of that moves in and out ever so slightly. Like I mentioned, if you snip off a piece in there, you'll get a lot more length, but it will be prone to falling out. There is the bend at the elbow, so it is a single point bend, and the fingers on this do move. So the two top ones together, the thumb section on its own, and you can get it from there all the way to there. When it comes to the hips right here, this is a little more than you'd expect because it's a double ball joint, so it can move up and down ever so slightly, so it can get a good swing. We've got verniers in the bottom there looking nice. This swings out to the back. This is the closest you can get to the splits. That's all the way in. That's all it does, but what more does it need to do? So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and I was not going to rank it, but hell, I'm going to rank it anyway. I'm going to give this thing right here platinum tier. It's such a good kit. This is as good as these kind of scale little kits get, and that's because there isn't really any of them. I guess in that regard shouldn't be setting the precedent for the rest of the reviews, but if there ever is any, I don't know. The thing is, it's just a nice kit all around. The only real point I would take away from it is the fact that the stickers do look a little bit on the cheap side and could be a whole lot cooler. If you're feeling crazy, LEDs all the way to get those lights all lit up, and it would really give it the sci-fi feel, especially if you got some light inside of the cockpit. This just looks really cool. If you're a fan of Gundam Unicorn and just love that first movie and all of the kind of early happenings in that, this is one of those kits that you need. It is just really, really nice. It's got a cool sci-fi element that's not too over the top. It almost looks like something that would realistically exist for maintenance. I love it. But yeah, anyway, that is it for the review. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, and as always, I will see you next time. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and all of these awesome people right here who help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including 10 Soldier YT, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Dashel Marmion, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Sehak, or G95061, 10 Soldier YT again, and Van Fawn.